Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So better we start, right? Okay, now, okay, for this week we start to go for the next chapter, which is a chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3 is actually about the national income equilibrium. Right, this is actually much more related from the chapter 2, which is chapter 2 about the measuring national income, right? So we already know how to measure our national income, but now we're going to actually to determine whether the national income is actually equilibrium or not. Okay. This is actually the note that I edit and combined with other Samsa reference note. And actually, this is all the G's that you need to cover in this chapter. Okay, and of course, for this chapter, have a lot of the formula and calculations. So please focus. Please make sure you understand from the beginning. If not understand, okay, please consult me. Please reveal and share it to me. If not, I don't know whether you understand or not. Okay, all right. So for this chapter 3, if you see, there's actually 1, 2 until 11, 11 subtopic that you should cover. All right, you should really grasp, conquer this subtopic. So then, barulah ketika you actually conquer for the chapter 3. Okay, but for today, I'm not sure how far you can go, but I think I want to cover until number 6, which is Islamic investment. But after all, it actually depends on you, whether actually you can catch up, whether you actually can hold to yourself or not. Okay, so it depends. Kita tengok dulu. Okay, now we go. Right. So of course, what's actually the national income equilibrium? Okay, what's actually the most important thing to know about it? Okay. So the equilibrium level is actually quite important. Quite important in the economics, economic calculation. In fact, in other thing which is will affect our life, which is here will affect the levels of the employment in the economy, right? Kenapa macam tu? Right, because it is also a use to identify the rate of the unemployment that occur in the economy, and actually not this about the unemployment matter, but other also. Okay, so if our if our what we call it, our revenue and if our expenditure not met the equilibrium, that's mean one of it will be excess, in excess, maknanya terlebih. Apa dia? Example, like if actually we have excess in the expenditure, so what happened? Right, so definitely it's not good for our country. But if we have excess in the income also, that also not good in our country. Why? Because that's mean we actually, our country collect a lot of money, but we not spend it, we not utilize it. Remember baru apa semalam ke dua hari lepas, hari Jumaat kan, kita dengar bajet 22 kan. If you ask me how about the budget, okay, to me the budget is really for the people lah. Okay, really for the people. It's just a certain thing which is for me can be improved. For example, like for the agricultural, okay, now we call agro foods again. So that one's supposed to be better, improve more. Because agriculture is actually a background of any backgrounds of the orang kata the sector of any country. Okay, is actually to secure our food supply. Okay, so back to this. Right. So the most important thing, because chapter 2 is actually almost about the calculation, you need to know what is actually consists in the calculation. And on the top, in the most the tops of it, you must know what approach is actually to be cover, or what approach wishes to be learned to how to understand the calculation overall. Okay, right. So according to the Keynesian approach, there are two types of the national income equilibrium. Right, kita nak cari equilibrium, but there's actually two types, ataupun dua approach yang kita panggil dia. Okay, first is actually aggregate supply, aggregate demand approach, and second is the injection leakage approach. Okay, for the aggregate supply, aggregate demand approach, this one we actually can narrow down. We can actually derive more. We can actually bring up for the variable or the content in this approach. And same goes like the leakage injection. Okay. Untuk ini saya lupa nak masukkan, tapi dalam formula ada just under the leakage sahaja. but it's okay, tak ada masalah, nanti boleh ni. Okay, contoh. Okay, contoh under injection dan leakage approach. Look at the injection. What's the injection? Injection is actually an income that can be raised within the circular flows here. Within the circular flows. Injections actually include the investment, government, expenditure, and export. Okay, maknanya di dalam injection ni apa? Duit masuk kan? So ada variable apa? Ada variable I, ada G, ada X. That's why it's actually income that can be raised within the circular flow. Okay, so the variable example like I, investment. Investments actually make money, alright? Government expenditure is also actually whatever the government spends, actually the benefit goes back to all the society, to the firm and so on. So that's why it's actually kata inject more benefit and money also. Okay, apatah lagi export. Exports actually we sell our product, right? So definitely we will gain the money, money flowing into our country. So that's why this is all we consider as injection. Okay, compared to this, a leakage. Okay, leakage is an actual income received by the all sectors in the economy which is not distributed within the circular flow. Right, leakage includes saving, tax and import. So dia kontrak lah dengan injection. Kalau injection raised within the circular flow, it can be raised the income. Okay, but this one is actually income received by all sector in the economy which is not distributed within the circular flow. Maknanya duit tu dia tak masuk balik di dalam circular tu. Remember the circular flow diagram tu? 2 sector, 3 sector, 4 sector, kan? Alright. So you still remember in the 2 sector which is apa kat bawah tu ada bank. After bank ada apa? Government sector. Then one will be 3 economic sector, and after that there is a foreign sector. Then complete will be 4 economic sector, right? So one by one we actually added the components in the economy. So we actually add another economic sector. But once we add the economic sector, there is actually money will flowing in and the money flowing out. Okay, example like once we add the government sector, what happened in the leakage, in terms of the leakage? Okay, all the household which is also consists of the entrepreneur of the firm, right? So we have to pay the tax. So the tax that we pay actually goes to the government. So the tax not goes back to the circular flow income, but government will use it as a government expenditure, right? And then it will inject back in that circular flow income. Okay, so leakage is something that actually we not okay circulate back in the income circular flow. Okay, right. So that's why include of saving, tax and the import. And leakage will reduce our national income. Ya, kalau banyak sangat leakage ni, dia akan mengurangkan pendapatan negara. Contoh, kalau kerajaan kutip cukai banyak sangat pun, okay, setiap tahun cukai naik dan terus naik. The rate of that will be increase. So what happen in the end? Lama-lama kelamaan, rakyat tak ada duit. Kenapa? Sebab asyik kena bayar cukai je. So cukai pun tidak boleh terlalu tinggi. So that's actually okay, depends to the wise of the government to determine lah which rate is actually appropriate and suitable for the people. Okay, same also like saving. Kenapa saving actually reduce national income? Okay, imagine that kalau semua orang ada duit, dapat duit tetapi tak berbelanja, semua orang simpan duit. So what happen? Do any transactions occur in the economy? Berlaku tak? Tak. Okay, economic activity tak berlaku langsung. Orang yang menjual tu duduk aja kat kedai dia kan, tunggu orang datang. Tapi orang tak datang. Kenapa? Semua orang tak nak berbelanja. So that is so not good. Okay, but yes, we need the saving, but we also must spend in order to help the economy. Okay, cuma belilah barangan buatan Malaysia. That will better. Local good instead of the imported. Okay, and how about the import? Yeah, of course lah, kalau asyik beli barang import saja, then our money will flowing out more, right, compared to the money flowing in. So this is also not good, and that's why this is actually the variable under the leakage. Okay, this is overall variable. Okay, kalau tadi injection for the AS dengan AD ni, kalau AS ni actually dia punya variable-nya equal to the Y. It's supply and income. It's not income, it's actually output sebenarnya. Okay, but we did not as a Y. And aggregate demand, remember, demand come from which components of the economic sector? Do we have demand from the household? Ada tak demand from the household? Ada ke tak ada?
Ada.
In terms of what? Good and service, right?
Yes.
There's a demand from the household. Ada tak firm demand? Kalau firm demand, dia demand apa? Fungsi dia apa? Transforms all the input to the output, right? So of course as a firm, dia lebih demand ni kepada apa? The input, the factors of production, right? The machines or the capital or maybe the loan from the bank. This is what the firm normally demand, right? Government normally demand what? Definitely the tax, the payments of the tax from the all the people, okay, and so on. Okay, so aggregate demand is actually can come from the all of four economic component, which is from the household within as a C, from the firm within as a I, from the government as well G, and from foreign sector net export. And that's actually the demand. Okay. Alright, so this is the approach I already introduced to you. Okay, so now we go one by one. Okay, approach for the aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach. Ini nak sebut ke dan berbelit. Okay, you just can mention as a ADAS pun boleh. Nak buat nak combine ADAS macam tak sedap. Takut nanti confuse, kan, takut tersalah dengan Adidas pula. No, okay, it's actually ADAS, which is the aggregate demand, aggregate supply. Tak ada masalah ASADO, ADAS, same thing, sama je sebenarnya. Okay, so aggregate demand or aggregate expenditure, sometimes we denote as aggregate expenditure also instead of the aggregate demand. Boleh jadi. So don't be surprised if you found it in the test, tiba-tiba ditulis AE instead of AD ditulis sebagai AE. It's stated as a AE. Dia tak ada masalah. That's actually the same thing. Demand, expenditure. Whatever you demand, you spend for it, right? So that's why it also considered as expenditure. Okay, so it's the total demand for the good and service in the economy. Okay, there are four components. Four components in the aggregate demand, namely the consumption, investment, government sector, and the foreign sector, which is the net export. I already mentioned just now. And aggregate supply or aggregate output is actually the total quantity of good and service produced in an economy in a given period of time. Refer to the output. Output. It also actually is referred to the aggregate output, but we did not as a Y. Sebagai Y. Y tu output lah ataupun Y tu income. Kenapa income? Sebab output bila kita jual akan dapat income. So that's why output ni we denote as a Y. Okay. Okay. Alright, for this one, okay, this is actually the approach in the ADAS. So that's mean once you calculate, bila dah settle apa semua, you have to actually represent your case in the forms of the diagram. So kalau you menggunakan approach for the ADAS approach, so this is actually the national income equilibrium in terms of the diagram that you should sketch. Maksudnya kalau dalam kalau menggunakan ASAD approach ni, you have to sketch these two curve ni, and because this is equilibrium, remember? Dalam chapter ni kita belajar tentang to determine the equilibrium kan. Equilibrium berlaku bila apa? Bila demand equal to the supply. So in this case, the AS equal to the AD. Okay, here remember AS actually equal to the Y, same. Right, and the AD ni, in the AD there is actually a four component ataupun four variable, which is the C, the I, G, X minus M. Alright, so here this is the equilibrium, and of course this is actually the income is regarded as a 45 degree line lah. Ini juga 45 degree line, and this is also actually represent the AS, the supply ataupun Y. Okay, so here the intersection between the AS and AD is actually the equilibrium point. So maknanya apa? Kalau di dalam approach AS dengan AD ni, bila you lukis apa case saja yang you lukis in this approach, diagramnya sentiasa berada di kawasan apa ni? What we call this? Positif. Ini kosong kan? So kalau bawah ni akan jadi apa? Any line yang bawah ni akan jadi Kalau you panjangkan this vertical line ni sampai bawah. Ini kosong tengah-tengah ni kan, ni kosong kat sini. So kat bawah ni akan jadi
Negatif.
yes. So sama juga yang belah kiri ni. Ni belah kiri ni. Kalau you panjangkan, sebelah kiri ni adalah negatif. So just to remind you, which is under ASAD approach ni, diagram ni is always positive side. Dia mesti berada di bahagian positif. Jangan salah sketch lah. Okay, so this is about the diagram. Okay. Alright, so leakage injection approach just now, alright. Tadi saya dah tunjuk pun tadi kan, what's actually the variable consists under the leakage and the injection. Leakage, of course, the withdrawal for the income, okay, ataupun the expenditure stream, okay, which is include the saving, tax and import, and injections as contra of the leakage. This is actually the addition of spending to the income expenditure stream, and of course include of the investment, government expenditure and the export. And equilibriums occur when the leakage are equal to the injection. So definitely same like the under aggregate demand and supply ratio, when the equilibrium occur when the demand equal to the supply. But of course under the leakage and injection approach, when the equilibrium occur when the leakage equal to the injection. Okay, these are the diagram look like under this injection leakage approach. Okay, just now I show you the aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach, which is on the positive side. Okay, but this one, okay, if you look at to this diagram, this is the leakage. Leakage ni dia dah melepasi. Ini adalah kosong kat sini. So dia melepasi which is positive line. Dia dah lepas kepada negative line. So there is a negative part here. Okay, and also there's actually a positive part here. Okay, so ada positif, ada juga bahagian negatif. And this are the leakage and this is the injection. Injection sini kalau you tengok is actually apa? The vertical, it's not vertical, the horizontal straight line ataupun constant. Dia akan tetap begini. Okay, the leakage will be like this is upward or downward sloping. This is upward or downward sloping leakage ni. Bentuk dia bentuk apa ni? Kita panggil. Dalam 163 dah belajar kan? So ini apa? Menyerupai apa? Keluk apa? S ke D? Dah lupa lah. Keluk supply ke keluk demand ni? Macam keluk. Masya Allah. Serius ni you all lupa?
Supply.
Ingat pun. So kalau supply apa dia punya bentuk dia?
Upward.
Upward. It's not downward. So leakage ni always upward, in the upward punya direction. Just injection ni will be like this, horizontal straight line. Okay. So can you see the difference between the aggregate demand approach diagram and compared to the injection leakage diagram? Ada dua yang berbeza. Sebab tu ada dua approach. And these two approaches actually affect much also in the terms of the diagram. Sebab tu dia berbeza. But at the end bila you calculate, sebenarnya jawapannya tetap sama. Cuma approach sahaja yang berbeza. Okay. Ini kalau untuk dalam formula in my handout, alright. So there's a two approach, aggregate expenditure approach, injection leakage approach, right. So under ASAD ni setiap satu di komponen dia, right. AS ikut ada Y, AD ada C, ada I, ada G. These are the component under aggregate demand, right. But we will not use all these variable ni simultaneously. It depends to the what economic sector that actually we will learn. Okay, same goes like injection and leakage. But this is, yang atas ni adalah full ataupun complete variable in each component of the approach. Alright. So bila kita nak kira, normally we will refer to the economic sector. So start from the 1 until 4 economic sector. This is how we're going to write the formula. So under aggregate expenditure approach, if we want to write the one sector economy formula, we should write the Y equal to the C plus S. Kenapa? Remember, kalau you start pada atas ni, start from the beginning, you have to write as a AS equal to the AD. So AS ni after we derive is actually equal to the Y. AD di bawah one sector economy ni only have the C dengan S. One sector economy ni consists of what? Komponen apa yang ada? Siapa playernya? Kalau one sector, siapa sahaja berada? Anybody? Come on. If one sector economy, that's mean how many players involved? One or two? Cepatlah, benda ni you dah patut like this je. You recover the major national income. You dah cover all the components, all the players in macroeconomic. Sama je. So if one sector economy, that's mean two sector? Two sector economy. Siapa yang ada? OMG, you all. Are you there? Okay, look at this. The business firm and the household sector. Ataupun gambar rajah yang biasa. Ada tak? Alamak, saya termasukkan. Itu kat bawah sangat lagi tak? Sekejap Kalau you lupa lah, saya ingatkan balik. Alright, in the two sector economy. Alright, so this is in two sector economy. So how many players there? Can you see?
Two.
Siapa?
Household dengan firm.
Yeah. So kalau one sector? If one sector?
One.
Household and madam.
Yes. Kalau one sector, that's mean household only. Okay. So if one sector, that's mean household only. I have to rewrite ataupun I have to include this one sector economy ke? Kenapa? Because this is also like quite popular in the question. But this is actually, for me, it's a bonus question. But bila student dia tengok soalan ni, dia terus confused. Kenapa? Sebab dia belajar cuma two sector economy. Memang pun because in the reality, if there is one sector economy, that's mean if there is one household only, that's mean the economics, there is no economic activity. Tidak berlaku apa-apa aktiviti ekonomi. Kenapa? Kerana yang ada cumalah household. Household was actually the role. Peranan ni adalah apa? Mengeluarkan input, because the house is actually the factors of the production, owners of the factors of production. So household not transform all this input, all these factors of production to the output. Tidak. So that's why kalau macam kita, hanya kita saja, imagine we are the household, kita je yang berada di dalam dunia ini. Okay, kita tidak berperanan sebagai firm. Apa kita buat? How we going to survive? So mungkin kita akan bercucuk tanam. Kita bercucuk tanam. Kitalah pemilik segala tanaman-tanaman itu. At the end kita akan tuai hasilnya. Untuk siapa? Untuk kita. Ada tak berlaku aktiviti ekonomi? Tidak. Okay, so that's mean kitalah guna, kitalah yang makan, kitalah saving. So that's why then bila kita keluarkan dalam formula, dia akan jadi begini bentuk dia. Y equal to the C plus S. Because why? There's only one sector economy, only household. Household tu lah yang consume, dia lah juga yang saving. Okay, got that? You kena faham kenapa formulanya begini. Kenapa dia tulis begini? Sebab remember, AS equal to the AD. Aggregate supply equal to the AD. So AS start dengan Y because AS itu Y. So AD, remember dalam AD ni ada C, ada I, ada G, ada X minus M. Tetapi kita tak tulis semua formula ni, variable ni daripada awal sampai akhir. It depend to the sector economy that we discuss. Okay, so now we are discussing the one sector economy. In the one sector economy, see there is only one component only, which is the household. So that's why this is how to write the formula. This is under the aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach. Remember, under this approach always start with the AS. AS equal to the Y. So, bila kita turunkan AS sama dengan Y, turunkan Y, equal to the AD di atas, remember? So AD hanya ada C dan S. Kenapa? Because this is one sector economy sahaja. Okay. And then for the two sector economy, right? Okay, when the two sector economy, there is a household and there is a firm. Household, apa function dia? Consume. No, consumption. Firm, apa dia punya role dia? Is actually investment. So that's why when we write the formula under two sector economy, we have to write like this. Y equal to the C plus I. Kenapa C? Kenapa I? Because C represent the household. I represent the firm. Okay, so C plus I. Can you see here the difference between the one sector and the two sector? Do you understand why we should write the formula like this? So far?
Yes, madam.
Boleh? Ada tak yang tak faham? This is very basic. Kena faham. Kat mana yang tak faham kalau tak faham tu? Which part? Come on. Share with me. Clear it now. Better. Daripada tangguh-tangguh simpan-simpan, lama-lama lagi susah. Anybody? Ada tak yang tak faham? So far, until here, my explanation. How to write the formula. Ini belum kira lagi tau. Ini saya kenalkan bagaimana formula-formula di dalam setiap sektor ekonomi. Mana datangnya formula tu? Okay? Boleh? No respond, that's mean I assume semua faham jangan lepas ni pula tiba-tiba you tanya soalan back to the basic. Maksudnya saya bagi awak. Saya dah tanya banyak kali kan, but you didn't reveal to me, you didn't share with me, you don't want. You rasa you okay? Tak apalah. Okay, hopefully betul-betul okay lah kan. I mean, you're right. So, one sector done, two sector done. Okay, now we go to three sector. When we discuss the three sector economy, that means we add another player. Apa dia? We add another player or the components in the macroeconomy. Apa dia? What is that?
Government.
Yep, the government. Okay, so once we add the government, this is how to write the formula under the aggregate supply aggregate demand approach, which is Y equal to the C plus I plus G. Okay, and in the four economy sector, okay, that means we actually involved with the foreign sector. So this is how to write the formula under the four sector economy, which is we have to plus the X minus M. X minus M, not X, not M only, no, X minus M, that means this is the net export. Okay, and this is how to write the formula under aggregate supply aggregate demand approach from one sector until four sector economy. And as simple as for this approach, always start with the Y. Biasanya you can start dengan Y. Y sampai mana? So nak tahu sampai mana dia punya variable dia, you kena refer sektor ekonomi yang berapa, 1 ke, 2 ke, 3 ke, or 4. Okay, because the formula will be stopped ataupun limited to the sector economy that we discuss. Unless if we discuss the four sector economy, definitely we include all the variables. Semua masuk. But if example like we just discuss about the two sector economy, two only, that means the household and the firm, hanya masukkan apa? C and I, because it's only related to the component that involved. Okay, this is under the aggregate supply aggregate demand approach, and under injection linkage approach, and this is how Okay, ini caranya untuk menulis. Okay, alright. Injection, as we know, there is the IGX, and leakage there is STM. In a one sector economy, still the formula will be I equal to the S. Okay, later I will show you, because I dengan S ni dia bukan hanya sekadar kata gantikan value, tidak. There is a function. There is a function sebenarnya. There is a S function, there is a C function sebenarnya. Okay, but for this, I just want you to recognize and be familiar with the formula, right? And under two sector economy also still the same formula, I equal to the S, okay? And under three sector economy, right, dah ada G kan? So bila ada G, that's mean apa? That's mean we have to pay the tax. So I plus G equal to the S plus T. Remember, I ni injection, S ni leakage ni yang keluar, S dengan T yang keluar, alright, which is duit tak masuk kan, yang ni duit masuk, inject back to the circular form of the diagram. Okay, I plus G equal to the S plus T. So under injection leakage approach ni, you have to be careful, because there's actually right and left you have to fulfill. You ada kiri ada kanan formula, kena tulis serentak, jangan jumble up all this variable. Sebab tu you kena tahu I ni apa, S ni apa yang ada, atau what's actually the component under I, what's the component under S. Alright, so that's actually only the component that you have to write under each for the injection and for the leakage, right? And for the fourth sector economy, so of course there is actually foreign sector, right? So adalah export and import, so it will be like this, I plus G plus X equal to the S plus T plus M. Okay, this is how to write the formula under injection leakage approach. Okay, and this is under aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach. Can you see the difference? Boleh tak nampak beza dia? So lepas ni, you akan mengira menggunakan dua-dua approach ni. Cumanya soalan kadang-kadang dia minta, alright, calculate or determine this national income equilibrium by using the injection leakage approach. Right, so after you find out that is actually the three sector economy punya case, so you kena tulislah formula ni and then settlekan. Okay, so kalau soalan spesifik minta approach apa, you kena follow lah soalan. Kalau soalan tak minta, suka hati, whether you want to choose this approach or this approach. But both approach must be conquered. Both approach, you must know how to write the formula and how to settle all the working steps. Okay, so these are the introductions of the approach and how the formula is right under both approach. Okay, but before we go to all the calculation, that's actually the startnya from the three sector economy. Still you kena cover dulu what's actually the function behind the formula. Each variable tu, how is it actually going to play the role in the calculation. Okay, so recall back the circular flows of the income diagram. Ini yang kita belajar dulu dalam chapter 2, if you remember, right? This is business firm and this is household sector. Ingat tak? Yang ni yang bila kita masuk balik, ini yang kita keluar. Okay, so whatever is actually income, kenapa business give to the household sector income, sebab household dia dah bagi balik kepada firm apa all the inputs, all the factors of production. Okay, at the end dia juga akan consume, so whatever output that business firm produce, dia jual, business ataupun this firm keluarkan, transform dalam bentuk good and service, dia juga yang guna, household juga yang guna. Alright, so dia juga yang membeli. So of course the firm actually target marketnya adalah household. Okay, but in this circle, in this cycles of the process, okay, apa yang berlaku bila household ni, bila dia save, maknanya duit tu tidak masuk balik dalam ni. Dia keluar, nampak tak? This dalam bentuk leakage dalam bentuk S, dalam bentuk tax when there's government sector, dalam bentuk import kalau dia import barang dari luar. Okay, same goes like this. This under injection, these are all the variable or the component which will include back in the circular flow diagram when there is an investment which is made by the firms and the government spending. Okay, and plus export. Ini menunjukkan apa, duit masuk. So dia akan masuk back to the circle of diagram. And because of this activity, boleh keluar formula. Sebab tu keluarnya tadi formula dalam sektor 1, sektor 2 and sektor 3 and plus sektor 4, 1 until 4 sektor. And each of the sector ni actually have the formula ni based on this diagram. Berdasarkan diagram ni sebenarnya. Right? Okay, so here kita pergi kepada consumption theory. Alright, consumption theory. So what is actually consumption's theory ini? Consumption ni apa? Penggunaan. Right, consumption refer to the purchase of the good and service by the individual or household that are produced by firms. Alright, income is actually divided into two parts. Of course, the consumption and saving. Okay, that's the consumption. Right, and the assumptions of the closed economy without a public sector or external transaction, which is Y equal to the C plus S, which is all income generated is consumed or saved. Ini yang saya cakap tadi as a one sector economy. Okay, instead of one sector economy, we also assume that there is actually closed economy. Of course lah, kalau ada seorang aja ataupun one player saja ataupun one component soalan in the market economy, tidak berlaku apa-apa transaction with other country. Yang ada hanya household. Yang ada household yang berada dalam negara itu. Jadi, tidak berlakulah open economy. Yang berlaku hanyalah closed economy. That's why another assumption also, which is we are actually doing the closed economy. Sebab tu formulanya begini. Y equal to the C plus S is actually refer to the all income generated is the consume ataupun save. Sebab apa? Because there is a household only. Ataupun kalau ada dua sektor ekonomi which is household and firms only, still ini juga kita regard as a closed economy. Kenapa closed economy? Sebab kita tidak interact with other country, which is all expenditure is either on consumption or investment good. Maknanya kita beli barang, kita guna barang and good and service, or sometimes we also actually invest. Okay, but that's actually the role of the firm, right? And then of course, sama juga macam tadi, which is consumption also can be defined as spending by all household lah in the economy on good and service produced within the economy. Consumption also refer to the plant intended or exempt consumption. So ini dah start dah teori kan. So kena faham lah which is apa. Consumption ni yang you faham actually expenditure ataupun penggunaan. That one enough. Tetapi ada penggunaan yang mana dia bergantung kepada income dan juga tidak bergantung kepada income. Okay, baik, tak apa, we go through dulu. Okay, consumption is the main component of the aggregate expenditure. Yes, ialah part yang paling penting di dalam aggregate expenditure ataupun aggregate demand. And the most important factor which influence consumption is disposable income. Right, ini yang paling mempengaruhi lah for the consumption, right? So which is that for the disposable income ni equal to the Y plus transfer minus tax. So ini disposable income. Okay, nak cari disposable income, that means Y kena tolak dengan T lah. Okay, as you already understand in the chapter 2. Okay, this is not the whole formula that you have to remember, but this part will be occur in the constructions of the formula. So here kalau dalam chapter 2 bagaimana nak kira disposable income? Formulanya adalah personal income minus dengan personal income tax, right? Okay, same goes in chapter 3. Alright, ada masa you kena kira disposable income. Alright, ada masa which is kata because this is actually very influence the consumption, kan? Jadi bagaimana nak keluarkan, nak represent how actually we deduct how we have the disposable income dengan cara tolak tax. Okay, Y minus T, which is YD equal to the Y minus T. Y minus T yang you kena ingat. Alright, okay, tak apa, ingat dulu. Register first in your head. After this baru apply. Hari ni banyak masuk je tu. Alright, so what else? The concept for the consumption and saving. So this is actually more kepada concept that ataupun the simple formula that you have to remember. Okay, Okay, average propensity to consume. This is the ratios of the total consumption to total income. APC. APC equal to the C divided with the Y. C is actually referred to total consumption and Y of course total income. Alright. And APS, biasanya ada consumption ni adalah saving sekali. Because both are actually very related. Alright. So when there is APC, there is APS. APS, which is the ratios of the total saving to the total income. Right? How to get the APS? S divided with the Y. And the tips here is actually the sums of the APC and APS is always B1. Right? Ini ada orang kata antara tips yang you kena ingat. Sebab bila soalan tanya calculate the APS, calculate the APC. After that, try to plus the APC and APS together. Kalau you dapat satu bermakna jawapannya betul insyaAllah. Tapi kalau you tak dapat satu, once you calculate, once you combine the APS and APC but you not get one, bermakna jawapan you something wrong. Okay, this is another tips how to check whether our answer is correct or not. Okay. Okay, cuba kira start daripada sini. APC, APS, and this is another tip. For me, tips also regard as a formula that you have to remember. So ini ada berapa? Ada berapa formula? 1, 2, 3. So, how many? You all tidur ke? How many formula?
3.
3, termasuk yang ini. Ingat balik to get the disposable income, which is how to do that with the Y minus T. So, masuk yang ni dah berapa?
4.
4. Okay, ingat right? To get the disposable income, Y minus T. Right? And under the consumption, these are the concept, but this is also the formula, APC, APS. And the tips how to get it, how to make sure the answer is correct or not. Which is APC, I think it's quite easy to remember. APC, C divided with the Y. APS, S divided with the Y. Alright, and how to make sure? Nak tahu betul ke tidak jawapannya? APS plus dengan APC equal to the 1, must be equal to the 1. Kalau tak sama dengan 1, bermakna jawapan yang kita kira itu salah. Okay. So apa lagi? When there is A tu aggregate kan? So adalah marginal. Alright. Marginal, that's mean apa? Marginal propensity to save, marginal propensity to consume, marginal something like which is the changes. Okay. So these are actually the ratios of the changes in the total saving to changes in the total income. Alright. So how to get the NPS? Changes, tiga segi itu actually refer to changes. Changes in the total saving divided by the changes for the total income. So dalam formula ni changes, this triangle symbol, triangle, as divided with the changes with the Y. Sebab MPS. Since M bermakna changes. Macam nak jadi changes tu? Changes S, macam nak jadi tu?
Tolak.
Tolak, apa yang tolak? Maklumat apa kita kena tolak kalau kita nak cari changes S?
Maklumat saving.
Pandai. Yes, maklumat saving lah. Tetapi yang mana? Maklumat saving yang mana? Ingat tak dulu, once is to elasticity. P1 PO, Q1 QO. Remember? Itulah changes. Same goes with this. Changes in saving. In other words, actually you have to find the S1 minus SO. Yang baru tolak yang lama. But apa baru, apa lama is refer to the saving information. Alright, so changes. Same goes like MPC, changes in C divided by the changes in Y. So nanti bila kira nanti you have to find the information for the C, the new one minus the old one. Yang baru tolak yang lama. Same goes with the Y. And of course, the sums of the MPC and MPS is always B1. Ini pun another tips to make sure our calculation for the MPS and MPC is correct, which is MPC plus MPS equal to 1. Sama macam tadi. APC dengan APS equal to 1. Okay, this is another 3 formula kan. Tadi 4. So ini 3 formula. Dah hafal terus? Hafal terus, senang. Ingat tak formula ni? Senang kan? Boleh ke tak boleh? Tengok je, belajar terus hafal. Because this is simple. Okay, this is others. Okay, other concept. Alright, APC, APS, NPC, NPS, itu memang common. Very common concept and the formula to be going to test in the test and the final exam. But sometimes there is also other concepts involved. Of course lah, kita ada tax kan. Bila ada tax, that means there is a APT, there is a NPT, and this is all the formula regarding the tax. Example for the APT, the total tax divided by the national income, the T and divide with the Y. But to get the NPT, since this is M, so changes in tax divided by the changes in income. As simple as that. Ingat, kalau M saja, M that's marginal. Marginal mean changes. You have to find the changes. Okay, so this is about the tax. Okay, ini import. Import pun ada juga. Ada APM, ada NPM. Alright. Ada ke madam? Ada. Kenapa tak ada? Yes, it have. Cumanya you bernasib baik untuk menjawab soalan ini atau tidak. Yelah, kalau soalan ni keluar in the test about the import, so you are lucky lah. Sebab jarang soalan ni keluar. So bila dia keluar, maka student itu sangat bertuah untuk menjawabnya. Adakah anda bersetuju dengan saya? You bertuah untuk menjawab kalau soalan ni keluar. Setuju ke tidak? Respon-respon saya nak dengar. You all suka tak kalau soalan ni keluar?
Tak tahulah madam.
Tak tahulah madam tak tahu nak kata bertuah atau tidak. Bertuah, ya insyaAllah. Anda diberi rezeki untuk menjawab soalan yang jarang keluar. Okey. Ingat tadi APT, NPM dah 2 dah kan? Asal tadi 4. Belum tambah dengan 3. Tambah dengan here 2. Okay, ni about tax. Right, for the import, okay, M divided with the Y and the changes in M and the changes in Y. Okay, tambah lagi 2. Right, okay. So, this one. This one. So, here, this is actually the best practice, and this is also actually in the dalam soalan ni quite common and quite frequent soalan akan tanya juga. Dia memang suka bagi table and minta you fill in to all this. Dia minta you actually isi semua ni. So, cekap mengira, cepatlah isi. Kalau lambat mengira, you akan jadi lambat untuk fill in all this. Alright. So here, APC, what's the formula? What's the formula APC?
Total consumption divide total income.
C divide with the Y. So C here berapa? Macam mana nak dapat?
0.
100 divide with the 0 lah kan? Okay. Bila dah masuk dekat sini, kalau second level ni, how to get the APC? Here. Apa bagi apa?
160 over 80.
Okay, good. So you nampak. As simple as just C divided with the Y. How about the APS? So first level, how to get? By using this figure?
Negative
Over
100.
Y.
Negative 100, right? Divide with the 0 again. Okay, and this one for the second?
Negative 80 divide 80.
Yeah, there the saving divided with the income. Okay, how about the MPC? Remember MPC, what's the formula? The changes, right? So now we want to calculate here. So if this level is actually considered a new. Okay, ini yang latest. So this is the current. Maknanya oldnya yang mana?
100.
So kalau APC ni kita nak guna apa? C mana tolak C apa? Remember C1 minus CO kan? C1 yang mana? Which is C1?
160.
Ha?
160 minus
160 MPC. MPC here, level this. Ni level kat sini. Bukan level kat sini. Here, the first level. We want to calculate
100.
MPC. Yes. 100, this is actually the C1 yang baru. So yang lama yang mana?
0.
Ya, dekat atas ni yang kita tak tahu. So bila tak tahu dan tak ada, so assume as a zero. So to get here the MPC, 100 minus 0. Divide with the income which is 0 minus 0. Can you get that? Faham tak?
Okay, madam.
Okay, so for this second, macam mana nak buat?
160 minus 100.
Yes, divide with the
80.
minus 0. Nampak? Yang ini level ni, bila kita nak kira, that's actually the current level. The current level show that's actually the new level. Right? Kalau macam ni, C1, inilah C1. Mana CO yang lama, yang previously? Ini kat atas di 100. So, C1 160 tolak dengan CO 100. Alright, samalah juga dengan MPS ni. Alright, MPS which is the changes ataupun marginal for the saving and of course you have to find them by using the changes lah. Negative 100 minus dengan 0 divided with the income which is 0 minus dengan 0. Okay, and for the second level, this negative 80, alright, tolak dengan 100, negative 100. Tolak dengan negative 100. That will be, and this is the new one, the S1. This is the SO, right? This is the Y1. This is the YO, and so on sampai habis. Okay, so this is actually the simple the concept that normally kita come out also in the question lah. So kalau yang ni pun tak pandai nak kira ataupun slow kira, apatah lagi yang lain. Okay, so be careful. So make sure practice make perfect lah. Alright. Bila bagi yang 0, sometimes bila dah tak ada tu, you just can orang kata leave it blank ataupun just put dash sahaja. Pun tak ada masalah. Alright. Okay, so apa conclusion that we can get from the APC, APS, MPC, MPS just now? Right, APC kalau you tengok balik pada jadual ni, okay, MPC dia, what happened to the MPC? What happened to the MPS? Both are actually apa? Constant, right? You akan dapat jawapan yang sama aja. Constant. Okay? Tapi cuba tambah. 0.75 tambah dengan 0.5. Dapat berapa?
1.
Ya. So, confirm jawapan kita ni betul. Right? So, here, the APC dengan APS. Kalau tambah dua-dua ni akan dapat berapa juga?
1.
1 kan? The tips, right? Okay, so back to the tip. So nak check whether our calculation is right or wrong. That's how to check one by one. Okay, but once we get the MPC, tapi kalau betul kira, try to calculate for at least tiga level pertama. Kalau dapat jawapan yang sama, that's betul lah tu. Jadi tak payahlah lagi kira lagi bawah ni. Just continue je write 0.75 until end. Same goes with this. Why? Sebab jawapan tetap akan sama. Okay, and look at the APS. Memula negatif 1, kurang, dapat 0. And then 0.8. Lama-lama dia makin meningkat. Okay, that's the APS. Tetapi APS yang makin meningkat ni, cuba tengok income. Bila income makin meningkat, what happen? APS makin meningkat. How about the consumption? Meningkat ke menurun? 2, 1, 1.25, 1, and then 0.9, 0.8. Ada 0.85. Is it increasing or decreasing? Once the income increasing.
Decreasing.
APC is decreasing, right? Tapi tengoklah dekat sini consumptionnya. Makin meningkat ke makin menurun?
Makin meningkat.
Yalah, logik lah kan? Sebab pendapatan meningkat. Bila pendapatan meningkat, consumption juga meningkat. Same goes like saving. Dulu duit sikit, saving sikit lah. But now bila dah duit dah banyak, so saving pun makin banyak. Walaupun tak sebanyak consumption. Tapi orang tu cakap apa? Nak simpan tengah ada. Kalau tak ada nak simpan apa? Betul tak? So bermakna apa? Bila ada duit, first come first is actually about the saving. Right? In fact, bila kita dapat gaji pun, make sure save dulu. Simpan dulu, put aside. This is actually for the, orang kata, for the future ke, for anything that will be safe. Jangan kacau. And after that, barulah you pay for all the bill. Ada orang dia bayar bill, bila dia bayar segala bil apa semua, bila bil tu dia bayar, dia akan terbelanja sekali. So dia lupa nak simpan. At least bila kita simpan, dan after that kita bayar bil dan kita beringat. InsyaAllah lah kan. Tapi kadang-kadang saya pun tak terpakai juga prinsip ni. Dan bila masuk Shopee tu lupa diri sekejap. Astaghfirullahalazim. Apa ni kan, lecture ekonomi macam tu. Saya juga manusia biasa. Yang lemah, yang takut iman. Sabar je lah kan. Bila nak ubah tak tahu lagi. Okay, alright. So these are the conclusion. So APC decrease as income increase, and APS increase, APS increase as a Y increase. You can see just now macam mana bila income tu naik, what happened, right? So NPC and NPS are constant, but in reality actually NPC decrease and NPS increase as income increase. Dan bila tengok figure tadi constant, tapi sebenar-benarnya dia adalah apa? Dia akan menjadi NPC sepatutnya menurun dan NPS sepatutnya NPS will be increased as income increase sepatutnya lah. Okay, but in the calculation it will be constant, and it changes. What is that mean? What is that mean? The NPC NPS too. It changes in income from a 0 to 100 lead to a rise in the autonomous consumption from 100 to 160. So it means that for the any changes in income, the consumer will spend 75% of it lah. Okay, NPC tu maksudnya, ini maksudnya kalau kita translate dia, maksudnya daripada apa saja perubahan income yang ada, yang kita dapat, right, consumer will spend 75% of it. Kecenderungan, NPC ni ibarat kecenderungan untuk kita berbelanja. Jadi dengan pendapatan yang sedemikian, dengan figure yang begitu, dengan you punya trend consumption you, dengan you punya trend saving you, kecenderungan you untuk berbelanja ataupun mengguna, ataupun in other words NPC sebanyak 75%. Okay, but how about the NPS? That's mean anytime income rises, bila income berubah saja ataupun bertambah saja, you punya kecenderungan untuk menyimpan ataupun the saving punya orang kata propensity ni will rise by 25%. Okay, dua-dua actually meningkat lah, tetapi satu 75%, satu lagi 25%. Ini maksudnya NPS dengan APC yang kita belajar tadi, kita tengok tadi. Okay, apa maksudnya? Dia lebih berkecenderungan untuk berbelanja dan juga menyimpan. Kalau APC, APS more to the total, jumlah sebenar. But NPC dengan APS lebih kepada kecenderungan. Okay, this is about the theory of the consumption and also the saving. Sedikit je ni on the surface je ni. Okay, you dah belajar tadi, there's a concept. APC, APS semua tu konsep. So now we go to the consumption function. Alright. Consumption function, apa benda ni? And this is actually the fungsi penggunaan. Right, consumption functions refers to the relationships between the consumption level and the income level. Alright, and we actually refer to the relationship between the consumption level and the income level. Ialah it's a function menunjukkan apa? Ada fungsi between the consumption and the income. According to the Keynes, to this economist Keynes, right, there are two types of consumption. Ada dua jenis consumption sebenarnya. Which one? First is actually the autonomous consumption, and then second is actually the planned or the induced consumption. Ada dua jenis. Nampak macam panjang tetapi sempoi je sebenarnya. Okay. So apa dia? First, the autonomous consumption. This actually amount of the consumption independent, or not related to the income. Bermakna sebut je autonomous consumption ni is not depend to the income. Okay, or amount that has been to consume even though income is zero. Senang cerita, ini adalah penggunaan ataupun perbelanjaan yang tidak bergantung kepada pendapatan. So simbolnya adalah A, which is C equal to the A. Alright. So influence, it's influenced by the non-income factor, contoh changes in the technology, right? Changes in the taste ataupun preference and etc. Alright. And is that actually a part of the consumption? And of course, even though when income equal to zero, right? Pelik juga, pendapatan tidak ada, income sama dengan kosong, tetapi dia punya consumption dia sentiasa positif. Okay, so this is what we call the autonomous consumption. And we call autonomous consumption, why? Because the consumption is still positive, even though y equal to zero. I mean that people still need to consume basic necessity even when the income is zero. Right? Ini kalau kita tak ada duit, kita perlu tak makan? Simple questions. Nak fahamkan income zero but consumption is still positive. Maksudnya contoh like kita lah, kita kena makan, bukannya hidup untuk makan, tapi makan untuk hidup kan, sebagai tenaga. So kalau kita tak ada duit, sampai tak ada duit untuk beli makanan, but kita perlu tak makan?
Perlu.
But bagaimana untuk kita dapatkan makanan tu?
Hutang.
Adakah hutang tidak melibatkan duit?
Libat.
Tetapi pembayarannya tidak berlaku serentak. Pembayarannya kemudian kan. But that one cannot be considered sebagai autonomous consumption, sebab autonomous consumption dia tidak bergantung langsung kepada income. Kalau kita berhutang, bermakna ada faktor income. Bermakna kita akan bayar, tetapi kemudian ataupun lambat sikit, still ada faktor income di situ. Ini masa saya belajar lah dulu kan, because this is actually the theory of dia orang kata conventional. Kena faham teori barat. Teori barat ni tidak selalu dengan Islam. Okay, so bagi teori barat, bagi mereka kenapa nak diselitkan consumption ni positif ni, contohlah kalau bab makan tadi. So of course dalam Islam kita kalau tidak ada, paling-paling habis pun kalau kita tidak minta bantuan pada orang lain, minta sedekah, alright, na'udzubillah kita mencuri kan. Tetapi teori konvensional daripada barat ni, mereka fahamkan, kalau kita tak ada duit, kalau kita perlu makan, to the extent kita kena mencuri. Itu teori barat, kena faham alright. So banyak lagi contoh lain lah, nak bagi anda mudah faham bagaimana tanpa hubungan dengan income. Kena faham, because autonomous consumption ni langsung tiada kaitan dengan income. Bila kita berhutang, kita ada kaitan dengan income, bermakna kita akan bayar, tetapi ini langsung tak ada kaitan dengan income. So kalau kita dapat sedekah daripada orang, ada tak kaitan dengan income? Ada tak? Kita
Ada. Ada.
Ada. Kita dapat sedekah daripada orang, kita dapat sedekah dalam bentuk makanan daripada orang, alright? Ada tak?
Tak ada. Tak ada.
Komitmen kita untuk kita bayar balik, tidak kan? Sebab kita dapat sedekah, alhamdulillah lawan nak bagi sedekah kan. Ini contohnya, tetapi takkanlah kita nak bergantung harap kepada sedekah aja. Kan? Ini yang will be counter back in Islam, which is apa? Kita perlulah berusaha. Okay, but this is orang kata the teori sahaja. Cumanya it's just example nak bagi you all faham bagaimana dikatakan positif, the consumption is positive but the income is zero. Bagaimana you boleh berbelanja tetapi income adalah zero? Berbelanja tak semestinya orang kata berbelanja beli apa saja, termasuk juga berbelanja beli makanan, kan berbelanja juga tu kan. Okay, so that's the autonomous consumption, alright? So simpelnya sebagai C equal to the A, the autonomous consumption. Okay, so kat mana kita nak detect autonomous consumption ni? Ingat tak phrase yang bila saya explain about the aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach, and these are the types of the diagram that you should write, which is in the positive side kan, in the positive side. Okay, so nampak tak gap ni di sini? This is the consumption, nampak tak? This is C. Consumption ni kenapa dia tak start daripada zero? Tapi dia di atas sikit, dia ada gap kat sini. Gap inilah yang dikatakan sebagai A, which is apa? The autonomous consumption. So gap ini, contohlah nilai A ni katakan 20. Nilai A ni 20, tetapi income ni adalah 0. Bermakna consumption tu berlaku, perbelanjaan itu berlaku, tetapi pada income 0. Alright, sebab itu kita we regard this as a autonomous consumption. Alright, so kalau kita tengok kat sini sebenarnya inilah functionnya, function for the consumption function. Okay, tak apa. Sekarang ni you fahamkan yang ini je dulu. Mana dia space ataupun mana dia actually the part of the autonomous consumption. This is the part on the vertical side and the small vertical part on the vertical axis ni. Kat sini. Dia biasa start daripada 0 sehinggalah kat mana startnya berlakunya consumption. This consumption curve. And this gap ni we refer as the autonomous consumption. Okay. Nampak tak bila dia potong kat sini? Saya cakap tadi kalau ini nilainya 20, so income dia sah-sah 0. Takkan pelik itu kan? Income ada value. Income tak ada value. Income kosong. Tetapi consumption ada value. So itu dikatakan autonomous consumption. So senang nak detect sebenarnya. Bila autonomous consumption itu berlaku? Bila income equal to the 0. Okay? Sampai sini faham tak? Saya kena check balik kan, saya shock sorang-sorang. Saya kalau bercakap lupa diri dan daratan. Okay, sampai sini faham tak? Diam tanda setuju. So faham Okay, alhamdulillah.
Faham.
Faham. Okay, second type of the consumption, which is planned or induced consumption. So apa dia planned or induced consumption? So definitely it's actually contra to the autonomous consumption just now. Tadi autonomous consumption not depend to the income, but this one is actually the amount of the consumption relate to the income, bergantung kepada pendapatan. So we can write this planned or induced consumption as a C equal to the FYD. Sebab F to function to the Y. Function to the Y. But this consumption ni function to the Y. Bergantung kepada income. Right? So influence by income factor. Just now not by the income factor, right? But this one influenced by the income factor. Example, permanent income, life cycle income, and etc. So in other words, these types of the consumption are depend to the income. And the amount of the consume depend on the value of the MPC given. Because MPC kecenderungan kan, kecenderungan untuk berbelanja menggunakan, so of course they depend to the MPC given. Okay, right. So kat mana berlaku induced consumption ni? Here, sepanjang keluk C ni. Sebab apa? Nampak tak? These are the income level. Daripada kosong ni sampai ke kanan sampailah it's actually infinity. We don't know. So this is all along the curve ni is actually the induced consumption. It depends to the income. Lagi income dia ke kanan, ni consumption dia akan apa? Meningkat ke atau berkurang? So kalau ikut macam meningkat lah. So lagi di ke kanan bermakna the income actually increase. Sahabat the consumption. Consumption also increase. That's why it's upward sloping. Alright. So sepanjang keluk ini we regard as induced consumption. Okay. Ini dari segi diagram bukan dari segi calculation. Kenal dulu sikit saya kenalkan. Alright. So by that you dah cover dah APC, APS, MPC, MPS dan kat mana part all this in the diagram. So kita boleh conclude kat sini. Right, by that the general forms of the consumption function equation is C equal to the A plus BYD. Yang saya ajar daripada APC, APS, blah 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 blah, all the concept ini sebenarnya nak membentuk consumption function. Dan inilah the consumption function. C equal to the A plus BYD. Okay, so this is another formula that you kena hafal. Alright, tambah lagi satu. So far dah berapa dah formula kalau ikut ini? Dah berapa dah termasuk function ni?
4 madam.
Hai.
5.
5.
Alah. Siapa yang betul-betul di take note di
8.
6.
Salah. Lebih daripada tu. Kalau masuk dengan ini, include with this function ni, kita dah ada 11 sebenarnya formula you kena hafal. 4 yang pertama termasuk disposable income tax. Okay. Lepas tu dengan APC, APS kan. All that. Okay. Plus lagi dengan apa? Ada APT, APM and so on. Ada A, ada M lagi. Ada tips lagi kat situ. Okay. Masuk ini dah 11 dah ni. Right. So C equal to the A plus B by D. C is the total consumption. A is actually the autonomous consumption. Alright, so we refer A ni as autonomous consumption. Ini dalam bentuk algebra Kalau dalam bentuk algebra bermakna this algebra can be replaced with the value. So itulah pentingnya kena faham dulu dalam bentuk algebra. Okay, so A is actually the autonomous consumption. The B sahaja is actually the slopes or the MPC. B sahaja adalah nilai MPC. Ingat tak MPC tadi dalam jadual tadi yang kita kira tadi? Value-nya berubah ke sama? Ingat tak MPC dia 0.75? Value-nya berubah ke sama? Sama kan? Constant, right? Sebab itu dia dikira sebagai slope. Dia punya orang kata kecerunan tu adalah sama. That's why the value is the same. B. Okay, and YD itself is actually the disposable income. Kalau B darab dengan YD is actually induced or the planned consumption. And YD saja adalah disposable income. Right? So ini adalah function for the consumption. C equal to the A plus BYD. Tolong ingat. Yang ni kalau you tak ingat, habis calculation tak boleh nak buat. Okay, because the calculations all the formula, remember, Y equal to the C plus S, Y equal to C plus I plus G. So C ni you kena replace with this one. Okay, so here the constant function, right, sama je. Cuma ni saya tambah lagi sikit. Okay, so C apa, A apa, B apa, and Y apa, and B darab Y, this is actually the induced consumption. Right, so dalam bentuk diagram, so inilah dia orang kata bagaimana keluk ataupun keluk consumption ni dilukis, di sketch, how to sketch this consumption curve will be like this. Nampak tak? Ini nilai A, which there's a gap, there's a vertical gap here. This is actually refer to the A autonomous consumption. So dia akan jadi upward sloping, tetapi dia tidak bermula daripada origin, dia akan ada gap sikit. That gap is actually refer to the autonomous consumption. Alright, so these are the consumption function diagram. So kalau bila lukis ni, make sure jangan lukis dia punya orang kata garis ni saja, is not complete. You must give the complete label. So here the C of course the function to the Y. You buat C saja pun dah cukup dah. Okay, so this the vertical ni pun kena letak C. Kenapa letak C? Sebab vertical ni menunjukkan apa yang ada di dalam ini. Apa yang kata the interactions occur within this. So C, and of course this is Y. Okay. Right. So instead of all the function, okay, ini nanti you tengok dalam buku lah, you ada buku kan. So what's the factor that influence the consumption? This all the factor can influence the consumption. Income level, definitely if your income is higher, of course your consumption will be higher. Again, maknanya perbelanjaan akan lebih banyak. How about the expectations? So of course your expectations will be increased. Kalau income you meningkat, you can expect macam-macam you going to consume, kan? In terms of wealth, dari segi kekayaan. So adakah ini juga akan membantu consumption? Of course. Lagi you kaya, lagi banyak you belanja, kan? Ada saja. Belanja apa-apalah. Dah kaya kan? Dah banyak duit. Right? So this also will influence consumption. In terms of the price level, so will be affected by the price level? It depends. It depends to the level or the situation that we are. Kalau kita dalam budget yang very strict, so definitely price level tu will affect us. Kalau budget kita sikit, tengok harga mahal, kita tak belilah. Tapi kalau budget kita banyak, tak kisah price level tu macam mana pun kan, insyaAllah mampu beli. So this is how will influence the consumption. In terms of the interest rate, in terms of the stock of durable good, okay, please read by yourself. Yeah. Okay, these are all the factors that influencing consumption. Ini biasa kalau dalam bentuk essay. Alright. Okay, so far dah 3.5. Baru habis consumption. Habis consumption, sampai consumption, function. Now ada lagi saving. Ini baru nombor 3. Saya jangkakan nak habis sampai 6 kan. Baru 3. So far, okay? Nak rest 5 minit? Ke nak continue je?
Rest dulu lah, madam.
Okay, kita rest 5 minutes. Okay? Now 3.30, 3.35, kita masuk balik. Ya? Jangan tidur dan jangan lari ya. Sikit je lagi. InsyaAllah boleh. InsyaAllah boleh habis. Sikit je lagi. Yang lepas ni senang je. Okay, so 3.35. Okay. Alright. Are you there? Still there?
Still here, madam.
Inilah. Macam itulah. Loyal. Okay. So we continue. Alright, number 3, which is saving. Saving theory. Okay, just now you cover the consumption theory, and this is also quite important part because without consumption, consumption and saving like macam both are really related each other. If you not consume, if you not consume, you will save, right? If you not save, you will consume. No, that's why dua-dua ni sangat penting. Okay, saving. Ni lah. Autonomous saving or de-saving, okay, is the part of saving not related to the income. So still, for the saving also, macam tadi, macam consumption, ada juga dua jenis, which is the autonomous and also the plan or induced saving. Which is, if the autonomous, that's mean these are the part which is not saving lah. Okay, a part of the saving not related to the income and occur when there is actually the autonomous consumption. Berlaku bila? Bila berlakunya autonomous consumption. Ingat, bila autonomous consumption tadi kan tak ada income. Bila tak ada income tetapi consumption positif. But if there is no income, no saving, that's why occur the autonomous saving. Autonomous consumption is actually the expenditure incurred by the consumer if there is no income, just now, okay? But savings is considered as a part of the income received by the household that is not used consumption or expenditure. Okay, which is saving bila of course is considered as a part of income yang kita terima dan kita tidak gunakan di dalam kita punya perbelanjaan. That's why S equal to the Y minus dengan C. Ini tak ingat apa-apa. Okay, tapi you faham dari segi definisinya, saving itu adalah apa? Sesuatu yang kita tidak belanjakan, yang kita tidak consume, we not spend. So that's why we can save. Kalau kita belanja, itu bukan saving. Itu memang menghabiskan duit. Okay, saving ni tidak habiskan duit, kita simpan. Okay, right. And then of course concept of saving just now same like consumption. There's a concept pun sama juga, cuma bezanya apa? APS dengan NPS. I dah cover tadi kan. Ini just kata to remind balik, to recall balik. Okay, saving pun ada APS, ada NPS. Okay, which is the S divided by the Y. Okay, the changes in S divided the changes in Y. Okay, just nanti you boleh baca dengan lebih detail lah. Alright, and the most important thing, saving function. Right, so ingat ada dua jenis tadi. So how to actually get to write the autonomous saving? So tadi kalau autonomous consumption, C equal to the A, right? So kalau autonomous saving ataupun de-saving, so we write as S equal to the negative A. Right, S equal to the negative A. Negative A is actually the autonomous saving, right? So sini the value of the saving after the consumption is a negative. So that's why it is a de-saving, right? Another type is actually the plan or induced saving, which is we can write as equal to the function to the income, as FYD, function to the income. So daripada all the concept dengan two types of the type of the saving ni, so we actually can conclude ataupun we just can generate the formula of the saving function, which is by that the general forms of the saving function equation is S equal to the negative A plus 1 minus B YD. Alright, tadi C equal to the A plus B YD. So now S equal to the negative A plus 1 minus B YD. Apa itu S? S of course total saving. Negative A alone is actually the autonomous saving or the saving. 1 minus B alone is actually the slope ataupun NPS. Okay, and of course kalau 1 minus B kalau darabkan dengan Y ni will be the induced saving. And YD itself, and YD alone is actually disposable income. Okay, so tadi C equal to the A plus B YD, and now S equal to the negative A plus 1 minus B YD. So 1 minus B itself ni adalah NPS. NPS yang kita kira tadi kan. So kalau you dapat katakan tadi 0.25, so nanti boleh tulis 0.25. Ini dalam bentuk algebra. Dalam bentuk algebra kalau kita gantikan dengan value, kalau katakan A sama dengan 20, NPS sama dengan 0.25. So how to actually write? To write this saving function? So you boleh tulis S equal to the negative 20 tambah dengan 0.25 YD. That's how when we replace with the value. Okay, so these are the saving function. Same goes, right? Daripada tadi C dengan now S, actually we just can derive, and we can derive the saving function from the consumption function. Derive tu mana kita boleh terbitkan dia plus dengan value. Okay, so katakan given the consumption function C equal to the 100 plus dengan 0.65 YD, katakan kita ada consumption yang ini, but daripada sini juga, daripada C ni kita boleh generate atau kita boleh derive the saving function. So kalau C sama dengan 100 ni apa? What is this 100? Refer to the apa? Ni apa?
Autonomous consumption.
Autonomous consumption. Simbolnya apa? What is the symbol? Yes, good. Okay, so kalau C sama dengan 100, so ini 100 ni simbolnya A. A adalah autonomous consumption, which is autonomous consumption berlaku bila tiada pendapatan. Bila tiada pendapatan, Y equal to 0, saving ada tak? Boleh tak berlaku saving kalau tiada pendapatan?
Tak boleh.
Tidak bermakna berlakulah autonomous saving. Simbolnya adalah negative A. So, in terms of the value, dia akan jadi negative 100. Okay. So, negative 100 ni apa?
Autonomous saving.
Very good. Mana dapat? Dia asalnya daripada consumption juga. So, kalau consumption ni bersama dengan 100, but 100 is autonomous, so it also actually the same value with the autonomous saving. Okay, so 0.5 ni diberikan. So kalau kita kira sebenarnya katakan diberi figure tertentu, and after we calculate, kita dapat MPC sama dengan 0.5. So this is how we write the value, 0.5. But daripada consumption ni, asalnya consumption ni kita nak terbitkan saving function. Remember dalam kes ni yang saya tunjukkan kat sini ni, we derive the saving function based on this C. So kalau C ni sama dengan 100, so sah dia punya autonomous saving is negative 100. But kalau MPC ni 0.65, so 0.35 ni apa? If 0.65 is MPC, so 0.35 ni adalah
MPS.
very good. So MPC plus MPS equal to the
1.
yeah. Sebab tu kalau you tengok kat sini 065 tambah dengan 0.35 always equal to the 1. So maknanya equation ni figurnya betul. Alright, ini dalam kes yang diberikan. Alright, dalam kes test you dalam final, dalam soalan dia tak diberikan begini. Alright, you kena kira how to get the MPC. Right, and after that how to get the MPS. So biasanya kalau dah dapat satu MPC, it's a simple work. Sebab apa? Sebab kita dah tahu dah, oh MPC plus MPS equal to 1. So tolak je lah, satu tolak je lah 0.5. Tak perlulah bersusah payah nak mengira changes in the S, divide with the changes in the Y. Kan? So that's why the tips also can help you, okay, to simplify your works, actually your calculation. Nak reduce mistake, kan? Okay, so these are the saving function. Okay, so ini dalam bentuk contoh yang macam tadi saya bagi tadi. Okay, cuma dalam bentuk dalam table, dalam kita tabular analysis lah. Alright, so kalau you nampak kat sini, nampak this actually the table which is plus dengan MPS. Kadang-kadang dia akan banyak bagi blank, kosong-kosong kat sini. So you yang kena fill in. Benda ni pun actually need a practice. Kalau biasa buat dia akan cepat. Kalau tak biasa buat dia akan jadi kewat sikit. Okay, so this is also can be a question which is mungkin you kena fill in. So the same thing, the same with the blue table just now I show you. Cuma saya nak tunjukkan sebab tu saya panggil ni combine not. So saya combine with the other reference. Benda yang sama tetapi saya nak you nampak perspektif yang berbeza. Okay. Right. So these are the saving function. Same. Okay. And after the saving function, is actually we have to learn the break-even income. Apa the break-even income? Right. Ataupun dalam BM ni apa? Titik pulang modal. So, kalau you berniaga, katakan you berniaga apa? Burger. Kos hari tu burger, katakan untuk hari tersebut, kos you beli belanja semua katakan RM100. Daripada kos RM100 tu, you berniaga, you dapat untung apa semua, semuanya dalam RM100 juga. So apakah untung you? Kos you 100, jualan you 100. Untung berapa?
Kosong.
Okay, kalau you dapat jualan 200, untungnya berapa?
100.
Okay, so apa maksud break-even income? Yang 100 ke yang 200 tadi? Untung.
100.
Ya, maksudnya apa? Break-even income ni like macam titik pulang modal. Kos yang you keluarkan, itulah yang you dapat. You tak untung, you tak rugi. Okay, that's a break-even income. Alright. The point at which consumption is equal to the national income. At this point, saving is equal to the zero. Alright. So for the break-even income ni, it's actually of course the level of which a household consider all the income. Alright. And there is a 4 condition. Ada empat cara ataupun syarat to get the break-even point ni. So when there is a y equal to the c, when s equal to the 0, when APS equal to the 1 and APS equal to the 0. Tapi untuk condition 1 and 2, which is y equal to the c, s equal to 0, this is the only condition that we can find ataupun try to find or recognize from the diagram. Tapi yang APC dengan APS ni tidak boleh dikenal pasti dalam diagram. Ini kena kira. Okay, only y equal to the c and s equal to the 0. Okay, let me show you. Ada tak diagram? Alright, this is the diagram. Okay, ini diagram untuk consumption function. Remember, ini contoh consumption function yang ada value. Nampak tak? C equal to the 100 plus 0.651. 100 bermaksud apa? A ada autonomous consumption kan? So that's why A dekat sini, dia akan ada value kat sini equal to the 100. 100 that's mean equal to the A. Okay, so of course these are the intersection between the Y and the C. The income and the consumption. So these are the equilibrium. Equilibrium berlaku kepada 200 million lah kat sini. Okay, so each point on the 45 degree line indicate a point where this possible income equal to the consumption. Yes, of course, setiap satu ini menunjukkan apa? Step income ni bergantung ataupun actually equal to the consumption. Alright, so this is the consumption and bawahnya adalah saving. Right, ini adalah consumption diagram, ini adalah saving diagram. So can you see the difference? For the consumption diagram is always apa? Berada di atas, positif. But for the saving, these are the saving, dia melepasi yang bawah. Ada kat bawah, ada juga di atas. So nampak tak? This is how to write the saving function when given with the value. S equal to the negative 100 plus 0.35y. Okay. Negative 100 equal to the negative A ataupun autonomous saving. So kalau you sketch dalam diagram, dia akan jadi begini, negative 100. Alright. So ini adalah value bagi autonomous saving. Okay. So 200 is actually the income equilibrium. Alright. So here, okay, break-even income is the level at which household consume all the income at the point of the break-even, y equal to the c. Kat mana y equal to the c? Nampak tak sini? Here, y equal to the c maknanya break even pointnya adalah sama dengan 200. Ini kita boleh detect bila y equal to the c. So here, c ada income which is 200. Satu, daripada diagram. Satu lagi, bila s equal to the 0. These are the curve. These are the S curve. Yang hijau ni adalah S curve. So bila dia melepasi this axis, axis apa ni? Kalau income ni. Nampak tak dia melepasi ni? But this sebenarnya sama kalau ikutkan dia parallel with the consumption for this diagram. So but even in the alone, in the single diagram pun, bila dia melepasi this horizontal axis ni, bila dia melepasi this axis, So itu adalah S sama dengan 0. Kenapa S sama dengan 0? Sebab ini levelnya 0. Tetapi value-nya adalah 200. Value pada Y ni adalah 200. So daripada diagram ada 2 point, break even point we can detect. Alright, Y equal to the C and S equal to the 0. Alright, so bila soalan tanya, contoh, okay, what's actually the levels of the break even point. Dia tak bagi you figure, dia terus tanya soalan. Tetapi dalam gambar rajah tu sebenarnya dah lengkap. Ketika you dapat gambar rajah kat sini, definitely you just can answer sama ada Y equal to the C ataupun S equal to the 0, which is Y equal to the 200. So the break even point equal to the 200. Okay, itu daripada gambar rajah, and that's the break even point. So APC equal to the 1, APS equal to 0, we can't detect from this diagram. Itu kena kira. Okay, so sampai sini faham tak? Until break even point. Okey ke tak okey ke nak pecah dah kepala dah? Okey lah, sampai break even point je lah. Kan? Okey tak sampai sini? Ke
Okey,
tak
madam.
berhenti?
Okey, madam. InsyaAllah.
Okay, so sampai break even point. Nanti kalau lebih lagi saya takut nanti you dah tak grab. Alright, so still I think I have to cover until 3 times. Okay, sebab topiknya banyak sampai 11 ya. 11 subtopik. Bukan topik ni. The chapter 3 ni got 11 main topic. Semua kena conquer, kena faham. And ingat, you punya test masuk sehingga chapter 3. Hanya sampailah inflationary gap ni. Jadi kena make sure kita kena at least cepat cover syllabus and we have time to do all the exercise. Okay. Sampai dekat sini untuk chapter 3. Nanti kita sambung for this second meeting. Second meeting pun sama. Second continue. Sebab tak boleh nak buat soalan. Tak best buat soalan kalau kita tak belajar habis kan. Okay. Cuma berkaitan dengan assignment, saya dah post, saya dah upload, it's not upload, I already actually create the link for you to upload all the assignment, tetapi tak semua orang kena submit, hanya ketua je lah, satu kumpulan seorang je lah wakil kan. So saya dapat schedule which is bermula 1 November, which is tomorrow. So starting tomorrow sehingga 7 hari bulan, okay, you boleh upload anytime, tetapi within 1 to 7 November to upload the group report. Okay, bukan ni esok kena hantar, sehingga 7 hari bulan within this week. Okay, got it?
Madam, submit in PDF, right?
Yes, submit dalam PDF dan satu file saja. Satu file tu bermaksud daripada cover page sehinggalah appendices, sehinggalah reference plus dengan declaration form. Declaration form from all the members. Kalau ada 10 orang kena letak sekali attachment tu. So of course dia akan jadi, file tu akan jadi besar dan banyaklah. Dan biasanya saya ingatkan apa, jangan lebih dari 10 page kan. Daripada 10 page tu maksud saya content of the assignment sahaja. Tidak termasuk cover page, tidak termasuk table of content, tidak termasuk reference, appendices tu tak termasuk. Declaration form pun tak masuk. Kalau masuk yang itu, kalau dikira sekali, confirm lebih daripada 10 muka surat. Kan? Tak menjadilah macam tu. So of course dah over. Tak. Right? That 10 pages normally I refer to the content of the assignment, the purely content of the assignment. The rest tu saya tak kira, tak masukkan dalam kiraan 10 muka surat itu. Okay, so pastikan you pun ada experience kan, dan saya juga attach the declaration form dalam Google Classroom tu. Saya post dalam Google Classroom. Okay, so start esok you dah boleh start upload bagi kumpulan yang dah siap. Alright, okay, any questions so far regarding the assignment ke apa ke, anything? Ada? Tak ada? Clear?
No, madam.
No. Okay. So kalau tak ada apa, insyaAllah kita jumpa second meeting. Alright, so until here. Right, Assalamualaikum.
Salam madam.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.
Salam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome.